and welcome back to my channel. Today is finally the day where I show you guys how to make black cake. This recipe has been requested for a while now, and since it is the holiday season, I figured what better time than to show you guys how to make this. This recipe was handed down to me from my grandmother, and every year she makes black cake and it's so good. So I wanted to share her preparation of black cake with you guys, and I just hope you guys enjoy. I want to wish you guys a very happy holiday season from Matthew's Guyanese Cooking to your kitchen. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. Alright everyone, so before I go ahead and start mixing up everything to go ahead and make my black cake, I just want to go over all of the ingredients that I'll be using today. So the first and most important ingredient is all of the fruits that I went ahead and I soaked. So if you haven't seen the video that I posted a little while back on how to go ahead and soak these fruits, I'm going to leave it right up here so you can go ahead and click on it, check that out first, and then come back and I'll show you guys how to make this cake. So I've had these soaking for about 2 weeks now. This year I didn't really get to let them soak for a really long time, but that's okay. Anywhere from a week to a year is perfectly fine. So I soaked about 4 pounds of fruits with the rum and the wine and the fruits. It ended up being a total of 4 pounds that I soaked, but I'm only using 2 pounds today. And of course I'll have these measurements in the description box down below. So I have my fruits here. I have some flour. I have some brown sugar. And the reason why I'm using the brown sugar is to give the cake some color. You're going to notice that I'm not using browning in my cake because that's not the way that my grandmother showed me how to make it. So I'm just going to be using the brown sugar. I also have some eggs, some vanilla extract, or you could go ahead and use mixed essence or almond extract if you'd like. I also have some baking powder, and I have 2 sticks of butter here. And I'm using unsalted butter and salted butter right here. If you wanted, you could use all salted butter, or you could use unsalted butter and then go ahead and add a little pinch of salt into your cake mix. I also wanted to mention that this butter and these eggs have been sitting out for about 30 minutes now. And the reason you want to do that is so that they come up to room temperature, so that when you're mixing your cake together, all of the ingredients combine properly. So now that I've gone over all of my ingredients, we're going to get into the mixing process. What I've done in my mixture here is I've added in both sticks of my butter as well as all of the sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and mix it on about a medium speed until it gets really nice and light and fluffy. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and mix this with your hand, but it would take a little elbow grease and it would take a little longer than it would in your mixer. So I'm just going to go with the mixer today. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that. I'm going to put it to mix. And I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done mixing. Alright guys, so my butter and sugar, as you guys can see, has turned a really nice light color, and you're going to see that it's really fluffy at this point. And it's been beating here for about 5 minutes now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is I'm going to add in my vanilla extract. And as I said before, you could go ahead and use mixed essence or almond essence if you would like. And I'm going to go ahead and add my eggs in one at a time. The reason why I'm going to let it mix in one at a time is because these eggs can make your mixture sort of separate if they're not combined properly. So I'm going to go ahead and pour in one. And then I'm going to let that mix thoroughly. And then I'm going to keep adding in my eggs one by one until I finished all of them. Mix in all of my eggs, and it's thoroughly mixed throughout this mixture. I'm going to go ahead and just scrape down the sides here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my baking powder and I'm going to add it into my flour here. And then I'm going to give that just a quick little mix, and I'm going to put that to the side. I also wanted to mention that I turned my oven heat to 350, so this way the cake could start baking. So now back to the mixture. I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my fruit into this mixture with the eggs and the butter and the sugar. So you want to get that all in there. And you want to make sure that your fruits are mixing thoroughly and evenly throughout this mixture right here. So I'm going to go ahead and let that mix. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Once all of your fruits are all mixed into that mixture with the butter and the sugar, you're going to want to go ahead and take it off of the mixer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start adding my flour in. I'm going to add the flour in a little bit at a time. I'm going to add in half first. I'm going to mix it in. The reason why I'm doing this is I just want it to get evenly incorporated. And I didn't want the mixture to do this job because I don't want it to over mix. as you know, when you overmix flour, it develops the gluten a little too much, and whatever you eat may end up tough in the end. I'm gonna let that mix in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add in the rest of my flour. And as I said in the beginning, if you were gonna use unsalted butter for this whole recipe, then what you'd wanna do is go ahead and add in about half a teaspoon of salt into your flour mixture here. You wanna mix it into the flour so this way it'll be evenly distributed when you mix it into the wet ingredients. So I'm just gonna continue folding in my flour. I'm not gonna overmix this at all. And then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when it's ready to go into the pan. What I've done here is I've lined my 13 by 9 inch baking tray with some parchment paper, and I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my batter. Now I am not greasing my pan just because I wanted to use the parchment paper just so I could lift it out once the cake was done. And if you wanted to, of course, you could split up this batter between two different smaller pans. So I'm just going to try to get all of this batter into this pan here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to spread it all out into a nice, even layer. And this cake will not rise too much, so this is like the perfect thickness for it. So once you smooth out the top, we're going to go ahead and put it in our oven that's preheated to 350 degrees. Okay guys, so I just wanted to give you a quick look at the cake. It's been baking for exactly 25 minutes now. And as you can see, I can touch the top and it's firm on the top, but I do feel that in the middle it does need a little more baking. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to lower the heat to my oven to 325 degrees, so this way the cake can cook a little slower and it won't dry out this way. I just wanted to show you guys what the black cake looks like once I pulled it out of the oven. So remember, I had it cooking for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees, and then I went ahead and I lowered the temperature to 325 degrees and then baked it for like another 6 or 7 minutes. And then I stuck a toothpick in the middle and it came out nice and clean. If there's a little cake stuck to the toothpick when you pull it out, that's perfectly fine, because remember, the cake is going to continue to cook a little bit when it comes out of the oven. So you just want to make sure that it's firm to the touch and it doesn't feel gooey or wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cool for about 10 minutes in the pan here, and then once it cools for about 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out with the wax paper here, just so it could cool by itself and it doesn't dry out. Of course, if you did not use parchment paper and you just greased your tray regularly, then what you'd want to do is just let it cool in the pan by itself without removing it. Alright guys, so the finished black cake is right here. I went ahead and I removed the parchment paper and I just put it on a tray. And I also wanted to mention that if you wanted your black cake to be a little more moist, or if you wanted the taste to be much stronger, then what you'd want to do is take a little bit of wine or some extra rum and go ahead and brush it over the top. When I tasted the black cake, for me it was strong enough, because I don't really like a strong black cake. To enjoy it, I don't like it to be too strong. But of course, it's as per your taste, so go ahead and brush a little more alcohol on the top if you see necessary. I'm just cutting into it right now, and I want to show you that inside. It's super moist and it's nice and dense, just like black cake should be. It definitely should not be too fluffy. And if your black cake comes out dry or it comes out a little hardish, then what you're going to want to do is definitely soak it in some extra alcohol. That's going to moisten it up just a little bit. So as far as this recipe goes, it's all done, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below on what you guys would like me to make next. Once again, I hope you guys enjoy this holiday season, and I hope you guys get to try out this black cake recipe. And thanks for watching. Bye, guys.